Victor Hale slammed his hand on the conference table and shouted my name like it was a curse. Grace Ellery destroyed this company, he roared, voice cracking, face red with a fury I had never seen in all my years working for him. Board members stared in stunned silence. Someone whispered for security. I didn't say a word. I had seen this moment coming long before he did. 3 months earlier, I stood beside him at the Growth Summit in Baltimore's Inner Harbor, the room buzzing with forced excitement. The company had just reported unprecedented expansion under my direction. Numbers Victor proudly repeated as if he had personally pulled them from thin air. He placed a hand lightly on my shoulder while speaking into the microphone. Grace led us through record growth, he said, smiling broadly. Truly remarkable work. For a moment, I believed the recognition was real. I believed the handshake he gave me backstage meant something. I believed the late nights, the lost weekends, the quiet sacrifices had finally earned a place at the table I had been building for years. Then Victor cleared his throat. And now, he continued, we need fresh young creative energy. I felt his hand lift away. I felt the room shift. This is my son, Finn Hale, he said, motioning toward a young man stepping forward in a tailored suit that did not quite fit. At 22, he brings new vision to our future. Effective immediately, he will be taking over Grace's responsibilities. She will hand over everything to him without delay. There were gasps. A few executives looked anywhere but at me. I kept my face steady. Finn extended his hand, confident but unsure. It's great to finally meet you properly, he said. Dad says you built an amazing foundation for me. I shook his hand warmly, holding his gaze a second longer than necessary. Congratulations. Finn, I hope you're ready for what comes with it. Inside, something quiet and sharp clicked into place. If Victor thought those top 5 partner meetings would run smoothly without me, he had no idea what he had just set in motion, and so began the unraveling he would later blame me for long before I ever lifted a finger. I walked out of the summit hall with my spine straight, my face calm, and my hands cold. No one stopped me. That was the part that stung. 6 years of building this place brick by brick, and the hallway felt suddenly unfamiliar. Grace Finn jogged up behind me, slightly breathless. Hey, I just wanted to say, I know this is weird, but I hope we can, work together. I kept my voice level. You're taking my department. Finn, that is not collaboration. He laughed awkwardly. Well, Dad said you'd be the perfect mentor. You know everything. I could really use someone like you to guide me. Is that what he told you? I said. That I exist to guide you? Finn blinked. I mean, yeah, you're the expert. He lowered his voice. Look, I know some people don't like nepotism, but trust me, I'm not just here for the name. I'm sure, I replied, because I had nothing kinder to offer. 2 analysts from my team walked past us. One murmured, I can't believe it. The other said nothing, just staring at the floor like she expected it to open. Human resources stood near the elevators. When I stepped in, they stepped out. Pretending they weren't avoiding me made the gesture even louder. Finn didn't notice any of it. So, tomorrow you can walk me through active campaigns. Maybe explain key accounts Dad said you'd hand everything over immediately. I nodded once. I heard him. His smile widened, relieved. That was the moment something inside me folded in on itself, not broken, not gone, just sharper. The elevator doors opened. Good night. Finn, night. Grace. And seriously, thank you. This is going to be great. When I reached my car, my phone buzzed. A message from Leah in finance. Something big is off in the books. Call me. And just like that, the humiliation settled into something steadier, something colder. When I got home to my small Federal Hill row house, I didn't turn on any lights. I went straight to the corner desk I had worked at through flu seasons, holidays, and more late nights than I cared to count. The bottom drawer stuck a little, like it knew what I was about to take from it. Inside was the folder, the one I had started months ago, long before Finn Hale appeared in any boardroom. I laid it down and opened it slowly. There were printed reports with numbers that never matched the raw data, notes from partner calls where they complained about delayed deliverables, emails showing budgets shifting without explanation, and, in more than one place, Victor Hale's signature written in a way that suggested he had not read a single line he approved. My phone buzzed. It was Leah from finance. I answered. "What did you find?" Leah's voice was tight. "Victor is covering a multi-quarter gap. He's been moving expenses between accounts. If anyone digs past the surface, it collapses." "How long has this been happening?" I asked. "At least since last spring." "Grace, he pushed you out because you are the only one who knows where the numbers should actually land." I closed my eyes. I didn't collect this to hurt him. I just needed to protect myself. "I know. But now, you need to be careful." We hung up, and I stared at the folder. Not a weapon. Not yet. Another buzz. This time it was an email from Partner 1. Marcus Thorne. Subject line: "Need to confirm you are still leading our account." His message was short. "If you are not our point of contact, we will reconsider our renewal. Do not delegate this." Finn had been on the job for 1 day. The cracks were already spreading through Victor's foundation. By 8 the next morning, Victor had already sent a message ordering me to shadow train Finn. The phrasing annoyed me more than the command itself. I had trained entire departments, but somehow this boy needed special handling. Finn walked into my office with a grin. "Ready to get started. Dad said you'd walk me through everything. We'll begin with current campaigns." I said. "High level. You can read the deeper reports later." "Perfect," he replied, dropping into the chair like he owned it. I opened the first file. "This is the Harbor Point launch. The core message is community-driven innovation." He interrupted confidently. "That was last year's messaging." I said, "This launch is different." "Oh, right. My mistake." He laughed like it wasn't the first of the morning. We moved on. Each time I gave him a summary, he repeated it back incorrectly. He reversed budgets, misquoted partner expectations, even confused 2 campaigns with opposite goals. At 10, my analyst Maya knocked lightly and slid a folder onto my desk. "Morning. Grace," she said softly. "Here are the numbers you asked for." Finn looked up. "You can give them to me instead." Maya hesitated, eyes flicking to mine. "Grace asked for them," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "It's fine," I said. "I'll pass along what he needs." When she left, Finn shrugged. "Your team is nervous around me. I think they expected some big speech from Dad. They're adjusting," I replied. Around noon, an email notification flashed across my screen. A forwarded message. My draft presentation, sent directly from Oliver, someone I had mentored for years, to Finn. Finn's eyes lit up as he read it. "This is great. He saved me so much time." I didn't flinch. I simply closed the file and said, "Then you should thank him." Inside, I shifted my plans forward by days, maybe weeks. Finn showed up outside the waterfront conference room with his tie crooked and his confidence straightened. "I've got this one," he said. "Dad said Partner 1 is basically already locked in." "Then let's hear how you open the meeting," I replied. He cleared his throat. "I'll start by thanking them for the Harbor Point expansion and promising a full rollout next month." "That expansion was postponed," I said quietly. "Indefinitely." Finn blinked. "Right. Yes, that's what I meant." Before I could respond, the door opened and Marcus Thorne stepped out to greet us. "Grace," he said warmly. "Good to see you. And this must be—" "Finn Hale," Finn said quickly, grabbing Marcus's hand. "Head of Creative Strategy." Marcus's eyebrows twitched almost imperceptibly. "Ah, I see. Inside." Finn launched into a summary of campaigns he clearly did not understand. He mixed up two major partners, misstated deliverables, and even referenced a budget that did not belong to Marcus's account. At one point, Marcus looked at me and asked, "Is this accurate?" I kept my voice steady. "Finn is leading the department now. I am no longer point of contact." Marcus closed his folder. "Grace, can I borrow you for a moment?" Finn nodded eagerly. "Take all the time you need." In the hallway, Marcus lowered his voice. "I want this said plainly. If you disappear from our account, we walk. I do not trust turnover decisions made as abruptly as this." "I understand." I replied, "You should speak with Victor about your concerns." "That is not who I trust," Marcus said. I met his gaze. "If you ever feel you're not receiving honesty, I'm reachable." He nodded once and re-entered the room. We barely made it back to the office when an email notification appeared on my phone. From Marcus. "Next week's renewal meeting is canceled. We will revisit once leadership is clarified." Finn kept talking beside me, unaware he had just watched the first crack appear in his father's empire. Victor stormed into my office before I even had the chance to sit down. Marcus canceled the renewal. He snapped, "Do you know how that makes us look?" "I know exactly how it looks," I said. His eyes narrowed. "Do not play smart with me. Grace, you undermined Finn in that meeting." I said nothing except that he was leading the department. I replied, "Your words, not mine." Victor pointed at me like he was delivering a verdict. "You need to stop making this transition difficult." Before I answered, Finn stepped in with a hopeful smile. "Dad, it went fine." Marcus was just quiet. "Finn," Victor hissed. "I am talking to Grace." Finn's smile collapsed, and he stepped back without another word. Victor left as abruptly as he came. Finn lingered, shifting his weight. "I thought the meeting was okay," he said softly. "You thought wrong," I said, and he didn't follow me when I walked out. At my desk, I found Leah from finance waiting for me with her laptop open. She didn't sit. He asked us to move more expenses again. She whispered, "We cannot hide this much longer." "How big is the gap now?" I asked. "Big enough that if anyone pulls the numbers apart, there is no putting them back together." My email dinged. Partner 2, a formal legal request for clarity on leadership. Second ding. Partner 3, postponing their quarterly meeting due to internal concerns. I closed both notifications without reacting. Leah watched my face carefully. "What are you going to do?" I shut my laptop. "Nothing." She blinked. "Nothing." I nodded. Sometimes the truth does not need help. It just needs space. The silence in my office grew heavier, pressing against every wall as the numbers bled underneath it. The joint meeting with partners 2 and 3 began with a silence so tight it felt like a held breath. Finn cleared his throat, clicked to the first slide, and said, "Let me walk everyone through our updated forecast." Partner 3 tilted her head. "That is last quarter's forecast." Finn frowned. "No." I leaned forward slightly. "Finn, you need the revised deck." "This is the revised deck," he insisted, clicking again. Slide 2 contradicted Slide 1. Slide 3 used numbers from a campaign that was never approved. Partner 2 closed his tablet. "This is exactly why we asked for clarity on leadership," he said. "We cannot operate under confusion or whatever this is." Finn's voice cracked. "It is just a small oversight." Partner 2 didn't look convinced. "It is not oversight. It is inexperience. And frankly, nepotism-led leadership is not something we can gamble on." The word landed like a hammer on the table. I saw Finn's hand tremble near the trackpad. Before anyone spoke again, my phone buzzed. Partner 4. A single-line email effective immediately. All negotiations are paused. Victor, sitting at the head of the table, went completely still. He didn't blink. He didn't swallow. He only whispered, Paused, partner. 3 folded her hands. This is what happens when direction shifts without explanation. Victor's voice thinned. We will resolve this. Another buzz, this time from the board. A group message immediate audit review scheduled. All department leads prepare documentation. Finn slumped back, color draining from his face. Victor finally looked at me. Not angry, not superior, just lost. I held his gaze without speaking. There was no triumph in me, only the understanding that the house was collapsing exactly where he had weakened it. Victor grabbed my arm the moment the meeting ended and pulled me into an empty conference room. The door shut behind us, the lock clicking like a warning. What game are you playing? He snapped. Partners walking out. Audits triggered. This is your doing. My doing, I said. I have not said a single word they did not already suspect. You are sabotaging us. Victor hissed. You want this company to fall so you can say I needed you. I do not need to say anything. I replied, Your numbers speak for themselves. Victor stepped closer. I can fix this. I can make this right. Grace, I will give you what you always wanted. A real promotion, a higher title, a compensation bump, name a number. I am not buying my dignity back from you. I said, You lost the right to offer anything. He took a breath that shook. Then stay loyal. Just until the audit passes. I will not lie to protect you, I said. Not this time. The door opened suddenly. Finn stood in the doorway, pale, sweating. Dad, stop yelling at her. Victor spun around. Out! No, Finn said, voice trembling. I cannot do this. I am drowning. I do not know these campaigns. I do not know the partners. I do not know how to fix what you told me I could handle. Victor's shoulders stiffened. You can handle it. Finn shook his head. You did not train me. You threw me into a job I was not ready for. For the first time, he looked at me with something like honesty. Grace, I am sorry. You did not deserve this. That was the moment I saw the truth. He was not the enemy. He was a pawn placed on a board already breaking. I placed my hand on the doorknob. The audit will get clean documentation. Nothing more, nothing less. Neither of them tried to stop me as I walked out. The audit team arrived 2 days later, and by then the office felt like a held breath. They called me in first. Not Victor, not Finn, me. The lead auditor opened his folder. Ms. Ellery, we need clarification on several inconsistencies. I will answer everything truthfully, I said, and provide any documentation you request. He nodded. We appreciate transparency. One by one, they read numbers that had never matched the data I originally pulled. Every time they asked, I responded with the version I had saved in my personal files, clean, unedited, time-stamped. By noon, the room was silent. This gap spans multiple quarters, the auditor said finally, and the signatures authorizing these adjustments are all from Mr. Hale. I said nothing. I did not need to. That afternoon, partners. 2 and 3 pulled out. Partner 4 sent a formal withdrawal. Partner 1 emailed a single line. We cannot remain in business with leadership that misrepresents outcomes. By the end of the week, the board called an emergency session. I was not invited, but I could hear the raised voices through the glass walls. After an hour, the announcement came through internal channels. Victor Hale's authority was suspended pending further review. He did not return the next day, or the day after that. By the end of the month, he had simply vanished from all internal correspondence. The company website removed his profile without comment. Finn stopped by my office one last time. I resigned. He said quietly, publicly. I told the board I was not qualified and should never have accepted the role. You did the only honest thing left. I replied. He swallowed. Grace, I am sorry. For all of it. I know. I said. We did not shake hands. We did not need to. 2 weeks later, I accepted an offer from a consulting firm in Canton. They hired me because of what the partners had said. Integrity is the rarest currency in business. I rebuilt slowly, quietly, without spectacle. 3 months into the new job, an anonymous email arrived in my inbox. A house built on borrowed talent always falls. No signature, no explanation. I closed the message, turned back to my work, and kept building something that was finally mine. Canton felt different after everything unraveled. The office was smaller, the team younger, the pay modest compared to the years I had spent chasing titles in Inner Harbor, but every morning when I walked in, someone would look up and say, "Good to have you, Grace," like the words meant something. One afternoon, my project manager, Lily, leaned into my doorway. "The client asked why you left your last company." She said, "What should I tell them?" "Tell them I left when my work stopped being valued," I replied. She nodded slowly. "That tracks. They said you were the only person who has ever answered their questions without spin. Honesty costs nothing," I said. Lily laughed. "In consulting, it costs everything." But she lingered, as if trying to articulate a thought she had not yet convinced herself to speak. "What is it?" I asked. "You do not act like someone who lost anything," she said. "You act like someone who finally put something down." I did not answer, because she was right. I had not destroyed Victor's company. I had simply stopped carrying his lies for him. 3 weeks later, during lunch, my phone buzzed on the desk. Lily glanced at the notification. "Breaking news, maybe," I said, opening the link. It was a formal announcement from the Maryland Corporate Oversight Board. Victor Hale, former Chief Executive Officer of Hale Strategic Group, is permanently prohibited from holding any executive or financial leadership position in any corporation operating within the state of Maryland, effective immediately, for conduct violations and breach of fiduciary responsibility. Lily's eyes widened. "That is harsh." "It is appropriate," I said. She hesitated. "Do you feel anything I thought about the years I spent believing Victor saw value in me? The late nights, the emergencies, the loyalty I defended long after I stopped believing in it?" "No," I said. "I do not feel anything at all." She smiled softly. "Then I guess you finally won." "I was not competing," I said, closing the article. I turned back to my work, the screen glowing steady in front of me, quiet, purposeful, mine.